guys, welcome back to the 12 days of foundation. We are on day number 6, halfway through. I will link to all of my previous foundation reviews down below. As I've mentioned before, this is a series inspired all by that Taylor. She did a 15 days of foundation and I thought that that was just so cool. So I thought in the spirit of Christmas, I do my own 12 days of foundation where I test out a foundation every single day for the next 12 days. I have incredibly oily skin, so we'll see how it lasts, if it holds up at all. Do I stay matte? Do I end up like an oily mess? I've had some pretty good luck so far. Today we're going to be talking about a pretty iconic foundation. It is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I've actually never used this before. This is going to be also a first impression. A lot of the foundations I have used before that I test out, but I thought it would be fun to do it for the first time with you guys. I'm a gigantic fan of the Studio Fix powder, and it's funny because in these foundation reviews I always say like, in MAC I'm a this, so in this foundation I'm a this, but today I'm actually testing out a MAC foundation. That being said, in the powder I like to wear an NC 43, but today I'm going to be wearing an NC 42, so let's get started. This foundation has been around for a long time. I feel like it is quite iconic, and for me anyways, MAC was a total gateway drug into makeup. I purchased my first MAC lipstick and then it was like, it just spiraled out of control from there. Let me know down below if you also started with MAC. I feel like a lot of people did. This foundation retails for $33, which is a lot cheaper, or somewhat cheaper anyways, than a lot of the foundations that are at Sephora. Slightly more expensive than what you get at the drugstore, but drugstore prices are getting up there. Something that I love about MAC is they've got gigantic shade ranges for their foundations. So this one comes in 42 different shades, which is absolutely amazing. I wear an NC 42 in this. I love their Studio Fix powder foundation, and I wear an NC 43 in that. I'm a little more yellow toned, so I go towards the NC foundations. If you're more pink toned, then you would probably lean towards an NW. So this, as I mentioned, retails for $33. You get a fluid ounce in here, and it comes in a glass bottle, which is gorgeous. However, there is no pump. You can purchase a pump and then you could kind of reuse it if you plan on using this foundation over and over. And it also can be used for the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the application. I'll use a beauty blender on this side, and then I'll use a more dense Morphe brush on this side. On the MAC website, they describe this as a modern foundation that combines a natural matte finish and medium to full buildable coverage with broad spectrum UVA UVB SPF 15 protection. Applies, builds, and blends easily and evenly, comfortable and long wearing. It helps to minimize the appearance of pores and imperfections, giving skin a smoother, more flawless look and finish. It lists it as being long wearing for 8 hours, refined skin, comfortable all day, oil control with oil-free, sweat and humidity resistance for all skin types, dermatologist tested, and non-acnegenic. I've given the foundation a little bit of time to set, and I think it's dried down to basically a powder finish. So if you have a normal skin, even combination skin, you may be able to get away with not powdering. If you are insanely oily like I am, basically always have to powder. I'm not going to use a setting spray. I did not use a primer. While I was letting my makeup set, I decided to do my brows, testing out a new brow product, and it was horrible. So I had to go in with like a makeup wipe and try and wipe off my brows without taking off the foundation and do my brows again, and now I'm just having a bad brow day, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do anything else. Like, you know when like your makeup's just not working and it's so annoying. Anyways, the show must go on. I will put on the rest of my face now. I feel like it built up to a gorgeous medium near full coverage. I think I could build it up a little bit further. I went in with one light layer and then built it up some more, and I think it built really nicely, but I do think that you don't need to move really quickly, but don't like let it completely set and build on top of that, because it does dry down to a powder finish. And I think it gave a really nice amount of coverage. I liked both the beauty blender and the brush, so I will put on the rest of my makeup and show you how it looks in photos. I have the rest of my makeup on now, and I'm wondering why it took me so long to jump on the bandwagon of this foundation. I'm loving it. I will list everything else that I have on my face down below, but I think that it just looks so good. It doesn't look cakey on my skin. It just gives beautiful coverage. My liquidy cream concealer still went on well, even though the foundation had set to a powder finish. I lightly powdered, and then everything else went on beautifully. I think it looks so great on the skin. In photos, I'm also equally as impressed. In my kind of studio lighting here, it looks great, as I always have been saying anyways. The ring light makes most things look pretty good. And then in flash photos, however, it surprised me because I still think it looks amazing. The SPF 15 doesn't seem to give really much of a flashback. It looks great and natural, and my skin just looks absolutely flawless. So I'm interested to see how this lasts throughout the day. I hope it holds up up, and this is going to become like a staple in my collection for sure. It is currently at 10:48, a little bit of a later start to the day, so I will check back with you guys at the end of it. I don't know what it is about the 12 days of foundation, but I have been having some amazing luck and coming across a ton of foundations that I've been loving. This one seems to be no different. I am super impressed with how this has worn. I've had it on for about 8-9 hours now, and it looks a little bit shiny, but nothing has moved around. It's really just in my T-zone that there is any shininess. My makeup still held up really nicely, blush, bronzer, everything is still there. It did not oxidize, and I don't think it looks cakey on my skin. I do, however, just want to blot a little bit and show you how it reacts to blotting and powdering, because that's generally what I'll do throughout the day. As I've mentioned many times, I'm incredibly oily, and it's just kind of like, how oily do I get and how messy do things get? If you are oily too, I'm sure you understand. If you're curious about my blotting powders, they are, or my blotting sheets, sorry, they are from Avon. I'll link them down below if they're still available. I honestly don't even think I really need a powder. I'm just going to use my powder brush and just kind of put it in the center of my face. I do that sometimes if I don't want to add powder to my face. I'll just use a brush to kind of blot. So as you can probably gather, I absolutely recommend this foundation. Not only do I love the wear time and how it reacted with my oily skin, but I think that the price is great for a higher end foundation, and the shade range is amazing. With 42 shades, there literally has to be something that you can find for yourself in there. So another big win. The only con I can see here is the bottle getting a little bit messy, but I'll totally put up with that for a foundation that I feel like I can trust and wear for a very long time. I actually am heading out, so I'm going to be wearing this throughout the night. I have no problem continuing to wear this for another like 5 hours. So thank you so much for watching. I will link to the first 5 days of the 12 days of foundation down below if you have some catching up to do. If you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!